great day. This is Brother Hot coming at you live from Simbaland. From Giami Journey Radio. Thank God for these type of experiences where you can separate yourself, where I can separate myself from the world and from all the things that people know me for and be able to be myself. I found me some new sound effects that I will be using when I go home. I'm coming to you live from Simbaland. What a beautiful morning. We are on day 8, and we will be finishing up Simba real soon. And we be on our way from our sacred land back home. And these next couple of days are going to be rough for not only the kids but the nation builders and elders, because we will have to wait a whole nother year for the gathering. But those of you that are listening to this, the work does not end here. The Simba camp is the break. The Simba camp is the break. Yes, I know that many of you that do come to Simba and you remember Simba, remember the hard work, but remember the joy you felt when it was over. Remember the joy that you had while you were here. Remember the joy that you experienced at the Sweat Lodge and when you was canoeing, and those of you that got to do the different activities that we do at Simbaland. Remember the joy, because the work begins when we get home. I need to say this to my listeners, and I need to say this to my nation builders. I need to say this to my warriors, and I need to say this to some of my older Simbas. The time has come for us to start really realizing that Simba Camp is the break. We come together on a national level so that we can remind ourselves of the importance of the work. This work has to continue at home. We have to continue meeting with our Simbas and our Simpsons when we get home. We got to continue meeting with our young people. Because when we meet with our young people, we set up a sacred space for them to be heard. Now, I got that from Elder Gaylord yesterday. After he heard my broadcast, he said one thing you left out, Doc, was that we provide a sacred space where we get to listen to our children, because we know we don't listen to our children the way we listen to our children when they're at Simba Camp. Where else can our children go and stand before a council of elders and share their life story? Where else can our youth go and be able to release their pain and not worry about any throwback from that? Where else do we allow our young people to talk? And we do that here at Simbaland. And where do we allow our adults to share their story? You know what I'm saying? Simbaland. So we need to take this home and start priming our young people for when they get ready to come to camps like this. We need to provide sacred spaces all over this country for our young people and for our elders and for the warriors and the nation builders to gather, so that we can build our village, so that we can provide the programming for our village, and so that we can go home with new ideas and new methods to be more successful, to work with the young people that we're working with. Now, last night, let me catch you up with what's been going on in Simbaland. Yes, we had the Simba Olympics. I didn't broadcast it this time. I couldn't find the broadcasters, and I was in some nice conversations with some elders that I won't see for a while, and some nation builders that I won't see for a while. We had the continuation of the Throwback Thursdays, and we had the closing ceremony. I wasn't in none of those. But then last night we had a Warrior Sweat. And man, the second round was a hot one. And I have to be honest with you. Once again, those of you that's been following me know my story about the Sweat Lodge. And if you want to know more about the Sweat Lodge, I just had an interview with Brother Naichi on the show, and it's called Simba Sweat Lodge. Go to it and check it out so you can understand a little bit more about the ceremony of the Sweat Lodge. But anyway, I did well on the first round. I ran a mile. Well, I ran close to a mile, and I stopped at the sweat lodge, and I got in with my brothers. I got in with some Simbas on their way to nation builders and some senior nation builders, and we got into the lodge. And I thought I had overcome my fear. But on the second round, it got hot. I mean, we had about 40 rocks up in there. Every last one of them was glowing, and the rocks was so hot when you brought it into the sweat lodge that you could start seeing. I was seeing faces. You know what I'm saying? That's how hot the rocks were. And as they closed it up, and Aichi started the songs and started pouring on the rocks, I felt the heat rise and fall on me. And I was in the midst of my prayer. And once again, the panic hit. And I turned my body towards the door because I felt the urge to run out. And I grabbed hold of myself. And then I heard my other brothers in there with me. And it calmed me down enough to make it through. Now, 2 years ago, well, actually almost 3 years ago, I had come to the conclusion that it was my time to stop sweating, or at least sweating in the way that I had been sweating, because up to that point in time, I was in my 30s, or at least still in the glow of my 30s, which was in the glow of my 20s. But now, as I approach 46 and I start dealing with my mortality, I realize that I have more time behind me than I have in front of me. And as I'm in that sweat lodge, I think all of my thoughts and all of my feelings and all of my fears of my mortality surface. And I have to deal with those, and I'm going to deal with those because I'm going to continue sweating. I'm not going to do 15 sweats in one Simba camp no more. I think that's a camp record. I had a camp record for the most sweats, but fitting in with the theme. When Pastor Yahel put together the theme for this year, it was an excellent theme, not hopefully for the kids, but for myself. It was an excellent theme. And the theme for this year's camp is removing the mask. And I had to be confronted as I sat in the Simba Lodge with a mask that I no longer fit. I'm known as the heavy at the camp. I'm known as Brother Hatim, the terrible, the sweater, the walker in the dark. And sometimes masks no longer fit. I don't know whether my face got too small for the mask or whether my face is too big for the mask. But I realized that I was wearing a mask. And in wearing that mask, I may be pushing myself in a direction that no longer fits me. So now I'm going to redouble my efforts to find the next person that could lead the chants and get the spirit moving up in Simba Camp. I'm making room for the next generation of people to explore the Sweat Lodge and take the lead on some of those things. I could do a supporting role and I could help guide somebody through. But people that are about my age, I'm 46, that's listening to me, understand that at some point in time, we got to start making room for those that's coming up behind us, because if not, we are doing an injustice to them and we're doing an injustice to ourselves. When we're trying to hold on to old mask, as Pastor Yahel would say, when we're trying to hold on to old mask, we rob the world of what we can be now. And hopefully my mask is the role that I have been playing here. At least that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? But realizing that we're wearing masks. Masks become dangerous because we all know that we need to put on a mask sometime. I have to put on a mask when I go to work. You know what I'm saying? I have to. There are various masks that we wear in our life. Although some of the people in the hood want to say they're keeping it real, they're not keeping it real. They're keeping it fake because they're wearing masks. And all of us, we wear masks, but we need to be able to realize that we're wearing masks, and we need to know and learn when it's time to take the mask off. And sometimes we need to be bold enough to be able to realize when it's time to retire the mask. So part of my mask, I'm retiring today. I mean, because I was talking to Elder Gaylord, who's one of the founders of Simba Camp, and I'm realizing now that I'm at the age where he found Simba Camp. So my role has to shift here and back home. My roles have to shift. I have to take a step back, and so that I could move 5 steps forward in nation building, so that I could be the elder that I want to be, because everything that my elders are doing now, I want to be able to make them proud and make myself proud. I want to be able to take everything that I'm doing to another level. So this is Brother Hatim saying, look at your own mask. Find out which mask you have to really start refining. And as we do at Simba Camp, we have masks that we do, which ones you might need to decorate a little bit more. But even more importantly, find out which mask you may need to start putting to the side. Which mask you done outgrew. Which mask may be in need of repair in your life. And which mask may need to be retired and thrown into the fire of life. This is Brother Hatim saying peace. I'd like to thank you for listening. Thank you for joining me for our time at Simbaland, because the broadcast will become fewer and fewer because we're moving into our day of silence, because we're about to have our children, our young warriors, our young Simbas. It's time for us to find out who will be Simbas and who will not be Simbas. It's time for us to evaluate our nation builders and find out who will be a nation builder in this nation and who will not be a nation builder in this nation. We down to the wire now. So, you will receive a morning chat this morning, but some of us is not going to make it through this transition. Unfortunate. But that's Simbaland. This is Hatim on Giami Journey Radio. And I'm out.
Do you hear that? What's it supposed to sound like? Mr. Deity, I think it sounds great. Mr. Deity.
For black power, cause all we want is freedom. Throw up a fist for black power, cause all we